ministry. God has blessed us to be able to have some young people. Because you got to start them out young. When they get as tall as Nicholas, it's too late to start them out. They're 6'2" and 195 pounds. It's too late. But when they get in the eye, you got to start them out when they down here, raise them up the way they should go. Start them out young. When they get grown, they'll know that God is the answer. Amen. Preaching time. We return to Mark. After Mark. 10th chapter. Amen. New Testament. Mark the 10th chapter. New Testament. Begin at verse 42. Mark the 10th chapter. Begin at verse 42. I read verse 42 through 45. Mark 10th chapter. But Jesus called them to him and said unto them, Ye know that they which are accounted to rule over the Gentiles exercise lordship over them, and their great ones exercise authority upon them. But so shall it not be among you, but whosoever will be great among you shall be your minister, and whosoever you will be the chiefest shall be servant of all. For even the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister, and to give his life a ransom for many. I'd like to talk to you today in my short appointed time on the subject of pulling the plow. Pulling the plow. And let me tell you a little short story. They gave me a little short story today. It said a man heading south pulled off the road to stop at one of those roadside stands. The sign said, Best sweet corn in the county. It was worth a stop. The man got out of his car and walked over to the makeshift vegetable stand, shook the few ears to make sure they were fresh, then filled his bag with 12 of the biggest ears of corn he had ever seen. As he was paying the farmer for his corn, he asked, How do you get your corn so sweet? What's your secret ingredient? Well, the farmer thought for a moment, then pointed to an old horse tied to the fence and said, There's the secret. He pulls the plow. In other words, valuable service is not always glamorous. They gave me a few examples, but I wanted to make it personal. They say here, consider the woman who runs the dishwasher in the hospital dietary department. She has dishpans hands, and by the end of the day, her apron is filthy. They said she sweats from the extreme heat of her environment. But she is diligent about the rules she has to follow to keep the pots and pans spotless and germ-free. Not a single patient in the hospital will ever see her or know about her essential service, but she is just as critical to their health and well-being as the doctor who orders their treatment. They say without willing workers to do these mundane menial tasks, they're small, but they're so important that the world could not move forward. They said, they talked about the garbage collectors and how they collect our garbage, and they are dirty and tired. But I said I wanted to make it personal. Now look at our last program. We had a Men's Day program that and at the end of the program, everybody sit down to eat. And it was a good meal. I know that I ate till I couldn't eat anymore. But did you see, if you could have saw the work, somebody had to be here at 8 in the morning the day before, and they not brought one grill, they brought 3 grills. Thank you, brother. pick it up,